Good evening to all. After a long gap, we have assembled to again make a beginning in this new era of Makar Sankramana of 2022. So without wasting much of the time, as this is a Zoom session, we do not know whether they are giving us 40 minutes or extended time, but based on that one, we will proceed with the chapter. भवति यदनुभावात् एडमुकोऽपि वाग्मी जडमतिरपि जन्तुः जायते प्राज्ञमौलिः सकल वचन चेतो देवता भारती सा मम वचसि निदत्तां सन्निधिं मानसे च देवं नारायणं नत्वा सर्वदोष विवर्जितं परिपूर्णं गुरुंश्चान् गीतार्थं वक्ष्यामि लेशतः योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरण त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. So with my humble salutations to my guru and mentor and Lord Sri Krishna, let us proceed with the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Even on earlier occasion, we had again discussed some of the aspects of this Sankhya Yoga, but however, we had left in the middle after just a few introduction, but we will make a bird's eye view or brush through some of the topics that we had, verses that we had covered, and then we can start with today's topic of Sankhya Yoga. Once again, let us continue serially, because first chapter we have continued and now we are in the second chapter. First is Arjuna Vishada Yoga, second is Sankhya Yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga stands for the Vishada or the grief of the Arjuna, wherein actually he had taken a watch to eliminate the enemies who were in the form of Kauravas, along with all the 5 brothers. And however, when the actual battle scene came, Arjuna became very nervous, and he said that he cannot take on this war. This is for the simple reason that Arjuna felt that with whom he is waging the war or with whom he is fighting, they are his own kith and kin in the form of his grandfathers, maternal uncles, paternal uncles, his cousin brothers, and his mentors and his teacher, and so many other such, including children, because children of Duryodhana was also, son of Duryodhana was also participating in the war. So he felt that it is something ethically wrong, morally wrong to fight with the brothers for the sake of property. And he had put forth a very rosy theory or a very wonderful theory to Lord Krishna and tried to explain to Lord Krishna that this war was unjust. Then he said that because they were his own kin brothers, so how can he take up the war? And it was the same Arjuna who had fought various wars earlier on earlier occasions, and single-handedly he has destroyed more than 3 crore army in the form, who were in the form of Nivata Kavachas. Nivata means who were wearing, Vata means air, who were wearing very tight gadgets or their wields. They were in the form of demons, and he had taken the fight. Besides that, also he took a lot of fights whenever a question of again expansion of the kingdom or for earning the wealth or establishing the their rule. He had taken so many fights, and he had killed many peoples also. But at that time, he never thought that he is destroying other lives, and their wives will become widows, and so many such other aspects. He never thought about those things. Now he is thinking that he is involved in so many ghastly acts of destroying his own kith and kin. So this was the first part line of Arjuna, wherein he thought that he is killing his own kith and kin. The war was not against any particular enemies for the sake of either wealth, and the war was not for expansion of the kingdom. The war was between the good and the evil forces, that is dharma and adharma. In the entire history, plenty of wars have taken place, either to overrule the other smaller kingdoms, or to take over the other kingdoms, or to get the gifts, or to make the other kings as slaves, and for the wealth of the property, or for looting their horses and elephants and women folk, and for so many other reasons. Jarasandha himself had captured more than 300 kings and made them as slaves and had put them in the jail. So that was the time. Even before that also so many wars have occurred. But this is one of the unique wars. Earlier wars, more than maybe crores of people might have died, but people do not remember those wars. However, they remember only this war, Mahabharata war, because even though a small number of people died, small number of only about 40 lakh people died. 7 Akshohini from Pandava side and 11 Akshohini from the Kaurava side. 7 Akshohini approximately stands for about 15 to 16 lakhs of people, and 11 Akshohini stands for about 22 to 23 lakhs of people, and the entire thing will come including the attendants and the servants and so on and so forth, maybe around 40 or 41 lakhs of people. But this war is considered as a pious war. This war is considered and remembered, and reading of this war also brings in lot of virtues. The reason behind this is that this is a war between virtues, or to establish the standard principles or ethical values, or the standard accepted values in the society, and to establish the rule of law. So without overlooking all these things, now Arjuna is pleading to Lord Krishna that I am killing my own kith and kin in this war, hence I do not want to take up the war. Because people who read only some part of the verse, or one verse, or somewhere some small portions of the verse, they feel that, even in Russia also we might have seen on earlier occasion, they said that this is a war between brothers and Lord Krishna was instigating for the war. Hence it is not a holy book. But it is not Lord Krishna who was instigating any war. In fact, he said that you ask for only 5 villages and let us lead a peaceful life. It was Arjuna and the Bhima who had taken a oath to eliminate that Kauravas, because they had committed so many sins on earlier occasions. It may be disrobing of Draupadi, it may be burning live at Lakshagraha to all these Pandavas, or it may be poisoning Bhima with deadly poison, and so on and so forth, or it may be driving away from their own land, or it may be with deceiving ends of making them defeated in the games that were played in those times in royal families. And all these things had counted so many sins on the part of the Kauravas. Hence Lord Krishna told that this is a war of virtues, and evils have to be destroyed, even though they are their own kith and kin. Now, extending this logic to our day-to-day life, we can feel that, suppose, let us say, somebody has failed in some examination. We don't bother, or somebody's son has failed, or somebody's son has met with an accident. But suppose if somebody says that your son has failed in the examination, then suddenly we become so much alert, and we try to follow so many other means. So suppose if I am a teacher, I might have failed so many students, but never bothered. Suppose in case my son is also writing the examination, and I am supposed to be a teacher, or I am a teacher, or my close friend, and if he is failed in the examination, then I become disturbed and perturbed and violate all the means so that my son should pass in the examination. So this is the logic that Arjuna was adopting. That is, Lord Sri Krishna wanted to say that whoever it is, whether it is your kith, and kin, or whether it is your own brothers or whoever it is there. In Bhagavata, they say that Janani na sasyat, Guru na sasyat, Mata na sasyat. That means don't call your mother a mother, don't call your teacher a teacher, don't call your wife a wife, don't call your son a son, or whoever is the relative, if they put you on a wrong path. This is a very clear message. If they put you on a wrong path, do not call them as a teacher. It is a duty of a teacher, duty of a husband, or duty of a father, duty of a mother to put their children on a righteous path. This was the clear message that existed. We get this verse from in Bhagavata also. So whenever time comes, we will discuss about that also. So now we had left on a point wherein now Arjuna has put forth so many theories, wherein he says that if we take on the war, all my brothers will die, and if they die, who will enjoy that kingdom? And he says that all their wives will become widows, soldiers' wives will become widows, and their bodies will be smeared with the blood, and so for logic he says. And the same Arjuna, suppose if a soldier died either from his side while taking on a war, or on the opposite enemy side, he never bothered that a soldier also was wounded, his own soldier was wounded and he was also bleeding. He never bothered. Now he is bothered because with his arrows, when he shoots a Drona, when he shoots a Bhishmachari, then he feels that if blood starts oozing from their body, then he feels that he has done so much of, it's a painful experience. So this painful experience should have been experienced by Arjuna, even if some other XYZ also bleeds. It is like, suppose if some accident occurs on a roadside, and we happen to witness, if the person is somebody XYZ whom we do not know, we do not bother about it. Suppose if the person who is involved in the accident happens to be our own kith and kin, then we suddenly start getting so much of fear, anxiety, and because it is the attachment of me and mine. That is the attachment that he is my son, belonging to me. He is, in fact, we are all children of the God. But we show so much of anxiety, affection, fear, and so many other things when it comes to us and our relatives, me and mine. So we feel that entire world is meant for me and for my kith and kin, not for others. So this is a wrong concept that Arjuna has adopted, which Lord Krishna wants to wipe up from the mind of this Arjuna. So now with this dejected Arjuna, who says that Sidanti mama gatrani, that means he says that I am unable to stand now, hence I want to quit this war. And he says that he will sit in the chariot, and then he says that I will not take on this war. That is the last verse of the first chapter I will read, so that we get continuity in second chapter. It says, Evam mukta Arjuna Sankhya ratopasta upavishata visrujam sasharam chapam shokasam vignamansaha. That means he says that he said these words to Lord Krishna, that I will not take on the war. And then he sat in the Sankhya, like in the war. Rathopasta means in that chariot he sat there, and Visrujam, that means he kept his bows and arrows down with a shoka, that means with so much anxiety, agony in the mind, he sat very silently. Then now we are coming to second chapter. This is a background, this is a preamble to what we are going to speak today. And the second chapter is Sankhya Yoga. That is Sankhya. See, let us see this view, this Bhagavad Gita from day-to-day point of view also, wherein, see, first is dejection of the Arjuna, that is depression of the Arjuna. That means whenever a person, and second chapter is Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means knowledge. That means whenever a person is disturbed, whenever a person is in agony, whenever a person is in confusion, whenever a person is at a crossroad, whenever a person feels that now he is unable to understand anything, the next road, then it is the right soil for sowing the seeds of the knowledge. That is why after first chapter, Lord Sri Krishna has taken up the second chapter, that is after this Vishada Yoga, now comes the Sankhya Yoga, wherein now it is the right time wherein Lord Sri Krishna can explain the concept of the real knowledge to him, and he can grasp it. Because when everything is very comfortable around, when the life is so comfortable around, nobody feels about the pains or difficulties of others. But when it comes to them, when they start experiencing that pain, then they start realizing that probably the other person also suffers from the same pain, same agony. So that is what is the message. And Arjuna, being a Kshatriya, he is duty bound for the warfare. So first verse goes like this for the Sankhya Yoga, that is second chapter. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya said, Sanjaya is the aide of Duryodhana, who is explaining what's happening on the battlefield. Now today we are all sitting in far off places. Somebody is in Hyderabad, somebody is in Pune, somebody is in Bangalore, Mysore, but still we are connected, we can speak. So when this modern science can give, why not for our ancestral rishis and saints who had this clairvoyance and the great capacity of viewing so many things. They used to view. We believe in Nostradamus, who has written the future of this world for maybe 500 years or 1000 years, and we believe in so much this one. So why can't we believe our own ancestors, rishis and sages, who had this clairvoyance, who had the capacity to again view what can happen in the future, what had happened in the long past before their existence, and explain this to the world. So this is where we have to correct ourselves or correct our logic and thinking in this present day society, which we are not finding very much, because everything they are questioning. We question each and every act. We question why this is to be done, why this has to be done. This is superstition. But we never, no other religion followers will question their gurus that why this is there, because nobody can even make a daring statement also why it is questioned. Only in our Hinduism or this ancestral values of this Indian religions, whatever is born in India is Indian religion, whichever sect it belongs, it all has the same roots and it has the same nectar of whatever it is there, whether it is from Sikhism, whether it is from Jainism, whether it is from Hinduism. All these, they are all children of the same tree that bears the fruits in different forms. So that is what we have to understand about our own ancestral values. So he says, Tam tata krupaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana. Madhusudana is the name of Lord Sri Krishna. Madhu was a devil or a demon. Sudana means to destroy. Lord Sri Krishna destroyed one demon in the form of Madhu. Madhu and Kaitava, they were two demons. He destroyed them or slayed that Madhu. So from that day onwards, it became his name as Madhusudana. And what this Madhusudana is telling, Vishidanta means who was dejected. That dejected Arjuna, Lord Sri Krishna is telling that Krupaya means out of his sympathy for that Arjuna, he is telling Ashrupurna means who had eyes filled with a tear. That tear filled Arjuna, dejected Arjuna, who was depressed, who was unable to find this path because with so much of heroic adventure he entered into the warfare. Actually, Yudhishthira was against. He said, "Let us not take on warfare." Nakula Sahadeva also, they were not against. It were only two people were so much ferocious about this war. One is Bhima, other is Arjuna. Bhima was absolutely silent and he was ready to take on the war because it is considered in our values that Bhima was a supreme power who incorporated. We call him as son of Anjaneya. So he had no doubts about anything. So he all took as a service to Lord Sri Krishna. But Arjuna developed a lot of doubts here. Why Arjuna developed a lot? Whether Arjuna was an ordinary fellow? Probably it's not. Arjuna is an incarnation of Lord Indra. Lord Indra means who is a god of so many other gods like Varuna and this Pravaha Vayu or Agni god. He rules them. So he is a superior god. But compared to other gods like Brahma or Shiva or Lord Krishna, he must be a smaller god. But compared to other rishis, mains, and Pitrulokas and all other deities, Indra rules over them. Indra was an enlightened person, but however, in the form of a human being. So what difficulties one can face? Probably to bring them to people like us. This Arjuna questioned Lord Sri Krishna. That is how we have in front of us this Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, if Arjuna were an enlightened person, he would never asked any question. Simply he took on the war and he would have killed everybody and things would have come to an end, logical end. But because he acted like that, because he asked the questions, then only Lord Sri Krishna opened his nectarine message of Bhagavad Gita, and that is how today we have this Bhagavad Gita with us, so that which is enlightening so many people around the world. And now Bhagavan Vacha. So after this dejected Arjuna, Lord Sri Krishna is addressing him. See, he says, Lord says, Kutastva Kashmalavidam Vishame Samupastitam Anaryam Ajustam Aswargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, from where did you get this poisoned idea? Vishame. Vishame means an odd situation like war. If you would have told when we were in home that we will not take up the war, that would have been fine. You made so many arrangements and you declared that I will destroy every enemy. You have taken so many vows, and then now when we have entered into the middle of this war field, now you are saying that I will not take on the war. This is unfit for a person like you. This is the message of Sri Bhagavan. Herein he says, Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samustitam Anaryam. Arya means the elder one. Anaryam is not a good practice of an established person, and this will not bring in good values, good virtues, or heavens to you. Then further he continues, Lord Sri Krishna, he says, Klaibyam masmag gamaha partha naitatva yupapaddate kshudram hrudaya dorbalyam tektotishta parantapa. Kshudram hrudaya dorbalyam, that means this weakness of the heart that you have developed. Kshudram hrudaya dorbalyam, this is your weakness, this is not a strength. Hence, tekta, you sacrifice that weakness, and uttishta, you get up, oh parantapa. Now, Sri Krishna is addressing with two names in this verse. So one is Klaibhyam Masmagamaha Partha. He has, in the first line he has used the word Partha. Second line he has used the word Parantapa. It's not accidental or a coincidence that Krishna uses some different. He uses every word with some hidden meaning, that is to stimulate that Arjuna, or to poke that Arjuna, or to pinch that Arjuna. Here he is faltering. First is he uses the word Partha. Partha word comes from son of Pruthu, that is Kunti Devi. That is Partha. He said, because he had taken a vow in front of that Kunti Devi that I will destroy all these enemies. And once he goes to ask the permission of Mother Kunti Devi for war, shall I go into the war? Then Kunti Devi tells him that this is the day I was waiting for, and you have born only for this purpose. Keep this in mind. So to remind Arjuna that you had taken a vow like this in front of your mother, he is using this word Partha. Oh Partha, now sacrifice, leave this your weakness and get up, oh Parantapa. Two names he has addressed. Parantapa. Parantapa is Paratapa. Tapa means heat. Para means the outsider or the enemy. That is, you are the one who can destroy the enemies, or you are the one who can heat those enemies and destroy, or you are the one who can bring in shivers into that enemies. Tapa means who cannot tolerate your valiance or your warfare, who cannot tolerate your arrows. So that is what is he's addressing, so that Arjuna remembers that yes, he is really a valiant warrior, and he is son of Prutha Devi or Kunti Devi, and he had promised, and then he gets up. So that is how Arjuna uses these great words against this Arjuna and addresses him. Then now still Arjuna has not to come out of his slumber. That is still he is arguing with Lord Krishna. He says, Arjuna Uvacha. Katham Bhishmamaham Sankhya Dronancha Madhusudana Ishubhi Pratiyotsami Pujarha Varisudana. He says to Lord Sri Krishna, Katham, how I can shoot with arrows, pierce with arrows this Bhishma, who is such a pious, towering personality. How can I use my arrows against my own teacher, that is Drona, who happens to be my own teacher? Oh Madhusudana, Ishubhi means with arrows. How can I pierce with the arrows? Who are very pious souls, who are very virtuous people. In the entire camp of this Duryodhana, Bhishma was a towering personality who was a virtuous and a pious person. Dronacharya was a pious person and a teacher of this Arjuna and all these Pandavas as well as Kauravas. Pandavas also Kauravas only. They are all born to the same lineage. Only because of the wicked mind of this Dhritarashtra, he started calling the son of Pandu. Both were brothers only. Dhritarashtra and Pandu, both were own brothers. But to keep them away. He started using the word Pandavas because they are children of the Pandava. It is the wicked thought of this Dhritarashtra who had called Pandavas. In fact, they are all Kauravas only. Kaurava has come from Kuru lineage. Kuru is their seniormost person, their ancestral one who had established that Kuru kingdom, and they are all children of that Kuru only. But this from Dhritarashtra times, he started differentiating between his children, called them as Kauravas, and called the children of Pandu as Pandavas. So this is one of the mistakes again done by this Dhritarashtra. Hence, probably he could not see actually that they were Kauravas. God probably to signify that he made them blind. He made him blind. That is, he was blind from outside also, blind from inside also. To convey probably this, this is what must have had happened. Then he uses this logic. Then he further continues his logic. Arjuna says, Guruna hatva hi mahanubhavan. They are all my gurus, mentors, who are mahanubhavas, who are very pious and towering personalities. Shreyo hi bhoktum bhaiksham apiha loke. Hatvarda kamans tu guruni haiva bhunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan. He says that by killing these my own mentors who are such pious people, it is better to beg and then lead a life, ordinary life, rather than enjoying the blood smeared throne of this Dhritarashtra or his own kith and kin. That is the logic of Arjuna. Still he is continuing with that logic in second chapter also. That means still the time, right time or a turning point for the Arjuna has not come. Still he is in a defense mode against putting his logic in front of Lord Krishna. Then further he says, Na chaitad vidmaha katranno gariyo yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyu yaneva hatva na jijivishamaha stevastitaha pramukhe dhartarashtraha. He says, I do not know after taking the war whether we will win over the we will win the war, or they will win the war, or they will win over us, or we will win over them. I do not know, Lord. Hence, I do not want to take up this war. Further, again, still he continues his logic, wherein he says that Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava pruchhami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha. Echeyam sya nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. See, this is the right kind of message that we can draw. Now Arjuna is telling that Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. Karpanya, Krupana, I became a Krupana. I became incapacitating person. I lost my courage. I lost my my capacity to take on this one. Yes. So there is a message from this Zoom that within 10 minutes, last 10 minutes they have given. So after 10 minutes, automatically it gets switched off. We will let us join once again and come to a logical conclusion of this some stage of chapter, and so that we can wind up today's session. After 10 minutes, automatically it closes, and then again we'll reconnect immediately and let us go to some logical point of this verse, so that we can continue on 26th January, because that being a holiday, same between 5 to 5:45 p.m. Now, yes, here Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. That means because of this my incapacitating power, I have lost my knowledge or capacity to judge. Hence, I am asking you. Now he says, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I have become your disciple, O Lord Krishna. Shishya, I have become Shishya. So this is one lesson that we have to learn in our day-to-day life, that whenever we are at a great difficulty, in great distress, or in great troubled times, we should surrender to Supreme Lord and seek his blessings, that I am at a difficulty and help me out of this situation. So Lord can take up this one. But it should be all our genuine prayers, genuine efforts. Then only Lord will reciprocate with something in the mind, and if we pray, probably it may not be answered, but if when it is genuine, definitely Lord will bless us. Further, Arjuna continues, nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachokam avapya bhuma va sapatna vruddham rajyam suranamapi chativatyam. Now he says that even if somebody offers me the entire kingdom of not only this earth but a heavenly kingdom also, if somebody offers me, I will not take on this war. I don't want to fight with my kith and kin, because still he feels that he is killing his own kith and kin, he is killing his own brothers, he is killing his own teachers, he is killing his own mentors, and he is still continuing with that logic, and still he continues. Now further, Sanjay Vacha. Evam mukta Rushikesham Gudakesha Parantapa na yotsa iti Govindam mukta tushnim babhuvaha. Now Sanjay is narrating the what is happening at the war field to his master, that is Dhritarashtra, because they were watching it from their palace itself. That is, he is telling that Evam Mukta, after telling like this to Hrushikesha. Hrushika means senses, Isha means the one who is the boss of it. Evam Mukta Hrushikesham Gudakesha Parantapa, that is one who is a master of all the senses. Master of all the senses is Lord Sri Krishna only. To Gudakesha. Gudaka means dark. Dark, that is Kesha means hair. That is Gudakesha means the one who has very beautiful hairs. Arjuna had very beautiful and long hairs. That is one meaning of this one. Or Gudaka means night. Kesha means who is capable of taking on the fight in night times also. That is, Arjuna was capable of fighting in night time as well as daytime continuously for 24 hours, and further Arjuna was capable of fighting with both the hands. Now many times if we are very good with the right hand, we cannot write with the left hand. If we can write with left hand, we cannot write with the right hand, or our capacities are different. But Arjuna, that is why in one of the verses Lord Krishna calls him as a Savyachachi. Savyasachi means one who can take on fight with left hand as well as right hand also. So that was the caliber of Arjuna, a very great soul descendant who had come on this earth to establish the rule of law and justice. So this is what explanation. Then further he says, Tamuvacha Hrushikesha Prahasanyeva Bharata Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidantam Idam Vachaha. That is, after telling like this, what Hrushikesha, that is Lord Sri Krishna, Prahasanyeva, Prahasan, Hasa means to smile. Smiling or laughing is Hasa. Prahasan means with special stress on the smile, he is smiling. Eva means similar to smiling. That is, he is not smiling, he is Lord Sri Krishna as if he is smiling. In Kannada, we call it as Venga, Venganagu. That means to insult that Arjuna. He is telling Senayor Ubhayor Madhye. That means between both the armies, Vishidanta means the dejected Arjuna. Lord Sri Krishna tells these words. So this is what is the message. Now the turning point has come. Now all the logic that Arjuna wanted to put forth to Lord Sri Krishna has put forth. That is, he said that they are my kith and kin, they are my painters and uncles and paternal uncles and brothers and children and cousins. All their wives will become this one. If I kill them, I will become a sinner, and their bloodshed I cannot see, and then I will become, I will lose all this one, my whatever, to whom I am earning all these things. It becomes meaningless and it is wasteful. So many logics. It is as good as telling that if all the persons of the world die and I alone survive, so what I will do with that one? It's of no use. That means world is beautiful only when everybody is there around. So like that, Arjuna is also telling, if my own kith and kin die, what will I do with all that wealth that I have acquired? So I don't want to take on the fight. That is the logic of Arjuna. Now this turning point has come. So hence Lord Sri Krishna is smiling from his mind, and he is telling that, he says, first verse from Lord Sri Krishna's lotus mouth, wherein he says, Ashotya nanvashochatvam prajna vadansha bhashase gatasuna agatasungsha nanashochanti panditaha. Lord Sri Krishna says that Ashotya nanvashochatvam, that is, you are worrying for the people who were not supposed to be worried for their death, because it is the same people who had committed so many sins to even royal family like you, because they had poisoned Bhima, who is supposed to be a king, and they had even driven them out of the country who were supposed to be kings, children of Pandus, and they have tried to burn them out, who were supposed to. All this means they are evil and crooked fellows, they deserve to be died. Now small question comes, Drona was a pious soul, and Bhishma was a pious soul. So that means why we should kill them? Because the one who are evil and those who support the evil, all they have to be punished in the view of the Lord Sri Krishna. That means even simply if I say I am good and I simply witness something that is injustice, that is also a wrong act only. That means we should fight for that one. Now fighting means one may feel that I'm a small person, what power I have got? I don't have political power, I don't have financial power, I don't have support from the people. How can I take on the fight with such a big people? So in that case, fighting in the sense we should fight based on our capacities. If it is possible, go and fight directly with that fellow. If it is not possible, follow any other rules. Maybe you become a witness in the court, maybe you help in lodging a complaint at the police station, or at least you verbally, at least you can scold that fellow that you have done any injustice, or you best, or at least you stay away from participating or becoming a mute spectator to what is happening around. This is what is the message that Lord Sri Krishna wants to give. That is, not only remaining silent is a crime, that is, one should fiercely fight back with the evil forces, unite against the evil forces. Even if simply says that I am good, I have not done anything, but that is also a crime only. So that is what is the message Lord Sri Krishna wants to drive into the minds of this Arjuna and convey very clearly. And next verse of this second chapter, it continues, Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. And Lord Sri Krishna says, don't say that they will die and we will die. It's not like that. There was no time when you were present in earlier times, and there will be no time in future when you will not be again present, or we will not be present. That means all the time we were present in one or the other form. Forms can be different. Maybe during previous eons, maybe we were in the form of dinosaurs only. Who knows it? And then maybe we had become some animals also. Who knows it? Maybe we have born in some African country or in American country. We do not know. Maybe we are born in some other form, a bird or a fish in the water, or we do not know anything. So all the time you were present, we were present. In future also we will be present. So there is no point in trying that you are killing them. So this is the first beautiful message Lord Sri Krishna has conveyed. Then he says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhiras tatra na muhyati. That means, suppose I was a small child, then I grew into a teenager, I grew into an adult, I am growing into an old person. I, at no point of time I cried that because, oh, from childhood I became a teenager. I never cried about that one. Automatically, we all became teenagers. Automatically, from teen, we became adults. We never bothered that, oh, I have lost my childhood, or my childhood has been killed, and